Hello?
Hello, Navateja?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm Jay here. I'm transferring the call.
yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Let me transfer the call.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Bye. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Navateja?
Hi.
Hey, Navateja, this is Anand.
Hello. Yeah.
Navateja, can you hear me?
No, fine.
Yes. Okay, so first of all, thanks for taking the call in such a short notice.
Oh, no problem.
As I alluded to in my email, we are primarily a software product development company.
Okay.
Our main development center is in Chennai,
Okay.
but we have presence across 5 different countries:
Mm-hmm.
US, UK, Canada, Mexico, and India.
Okay, okay.
And we develop our own products. We have our own products. Our flagship product is primarily in the manufacturing and energy space.
Mm-hmm.
But we also provide product development services for others.
Okay, okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we either design and develop a product idea which our customer brings to us,
Mm-hmm.
or we work as an extended engineering team to a product company.
Okay.
Okay. It is in one such arrangement where we are working as an extended engineering team for a startup in Silicon Valley, California.
Okay.
Okay. It is for this account that we are looking to add a strong DevOps engineer,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
and that is where your profile was referred to.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the team is currently about 12 members here in Chennai,
Okay.
and about 5 members as part of the US team.
Okay.
And
So that is a DevOps team only or complete team?
this is the whole team.
Whole team. Okay, okay.
The
For
whole team is
yeah, for 12 members people, me only the developer like that. Sorry, DevOps engineer.
for the current size of the DevOps team is 2.
Oh, two. Okay, okay. Mm-hmm.
We have 2 DevOps engineers, and so and most of our infrastructure is running on top of Amazon.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we are also evaluating the Oracle Cloud. for
Okay.
SP.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
And our current setup is primarily using Jenkins.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we deploy things on top of a Kubernetes cluster.
Okay, okay. Kubernetes. Mm-hmm.
So that's where we stand now.
Okay.
So that's the quickest background I can give. As I said, my name is Anand.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I am the technical director of this company,
Okay, okay.
and I've been with this company for the last 17 years.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
17?
Yeah,
17 years. Oh.
17 years. Yeah, I started my career here, and I've kind of stuck with this company all these years.
Okay, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Hello?
Yeah. So what about you, Ravi Teja? So how did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about
Navateja.
background?
Navateja. NAVATHEJ. Navateja. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about you? What is your background? How
Yeah.
did you enter this line?
Yeah, yeah.
What are you up to these days?
Yeah.
Can you provide just quick background?
Sure. Myself is Navateja, having 3 years experience on DevOps. So in my past experience, I worked on a couple of tools like version control system. I worked in SVN and Git also. And coming to build tools, I have very good experience on Maven and basic knowledge in Ant also. Coming to continuous integration, Jenkins, I worked continuous Jenkins I worked. In Jenkins, I did so many things like automation things I did. So doing the pipeline view and configuration management using the Rundeck tool and Chef also I have very good experience in Jenkins automation. And also in Jenkins, I have very good knowledge in installing the plugin and installing the nodes and also uploading the packages from the Jenkins to third-party repository in Nexus we are using. So in that also I have very good experience. And coming to servers, I have good knowledge in the Tomcat server basic knowledge, and Red Hat Satellite server we are using. So both the manual deployment and automation deployment, I have very good experience on that. Like purely I worked as a DevOps engineer. I'll take care from the development to till deployment I will take care. So I have very good experience on test environment. From testing to from development to testing, I have good knowledge. And coming to like a ticketing system tool, I worked in Jira. I worked, and ServiceNow I worked, and RTC also I worked, and also for monitoring tool I worked in Fisheye. Latest commits we will check in the Fisheye monitoring tool. So in that also I have very good experience. And coming to Amazon, from last 3 months I started career using the Amazon Web Services. So in that I started career in basic like EC2. I started creating the instances, and S3 also I started like we are taking the backups of our Jenkins outputs in the S3 bucket. So in that also I have good knowledge on that. So this is my side.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
That was a pretty extensive background. So how did you end up in this area? Like, for example, were you always interested in system administration, or how did you end up in this particular specific area?
Yeah, specific area I'm planning to move into as a complete DevOps engineer. Currently, my organization from last two projects I worked very limited tools only, so I didn't get chance to work on the like cloud. Amazon complete access I don't have. Very liberal access my client give. So I'm planning to move my organization to some other company. So I wanted to become a complete architect of the DevOps thing. End-to-end process. I want to learn complete from development to end-to-end process like production deployment. I'm planning to move into different areas. So this is my intention.
Got it. And what kind of deployment process that you are familiar with today? Like, for example, all the Jenkins change experience that you were talking about, was it always about just building the artifacts, or does it also involve deploying them?
Yeah, complete architecture I involved from building the code and releasing the packages and deploying the packages also.
So what kind of deployment are you talking about here?
Deployments, testing environment, we will deploy the packages. And using the Rundeck we are doing, and the Chef also I worked.
Okay, can you provide me a bit more detail, because I'm not with that.
Sure.
So maybe if you can provide me more details, it will help me to understand.
Sure. So usually my application currently I'm working Hong Kong project. So that is we have a dashboard for that Hong Kong project. Usually how my developers working is, we have a monthly release. Every month we have a release into production team. So my role is like a app support team. I'm giving the supporting both building the code and releasing the code and deploy that packages into test environment. So moreover than what I will do is, once my development is done, my developers, what I will do is I will use the different tools like version controlling and build tool and continuous integration tool. Like version control SVN we are using. Once my development is done, they will push their code into the SVN. After that, what we have to do is we have to configure that build tool Maven and SVN into my Jenkins. So usually we are doing the automation directly we will deploy the packages into test environments using the Rundeck server. So how I will configure the Rundeck into my Jenkins is, usually we will pass the parameters from the Rundeck where I want to deploy the packages, and also RHN push plugin I will use in the Jenkins. So what it will do is, so Red Hat Satellite server plugin that is. So once my Jenkins job getting success, automatically the package will upload it into Red Hat Satellite server. How I will provide the connectivity between this Red Hat and Jenkins is nothing but using the RHN push plugin. I'll pass the Red Hat Satellite server username and password and IP address I'll pass. Coming to final stage, deployment stage, I'm using the Rundeck. So Rundeck, I'll create the Rundeck job for the particular requirement, and also nodes also I will create in the Rundeck. That GUI code I will pass from the Jenkins only. Whenever I trigger the build in the Jenkins, what it will do is it will perform the actions from first. It will start from the building the code. Once building is completed, then after that it will releasing the packages. Finally, it will call to Rundeck. Using the Rundeck, it will check the environment where you want to deploy the packages. After that, it will deploy the package from the Jenkins to till test servers. I mean, once test servers work is done, what I will do is I'll check with the testing team to check the application of what I mean. I did the deployment in the particular test servers. Can you please test the application? Suppose if anything goes to wrong in the test environment, what testers will do is testers will directly contact to the development team. So once my development, I mean, they fix the issue, again it will come to me. I'll release the package into test environment. Once testing is success, then it will go to production team. The production team also, usually we have a separate team. The production, they will release the packages into application directly. My application they will develop. So this is the deployment structure we are using.
So, this is something that you possibly set up for once, right? Like, for example, let's say at the start of the project, you might probably set up the necessary Jenkins jobs as well as the way all this should be done.
Exactly.
So this is more of a one-time setup thing, right?
Yeah, it's a one-time setup for one job. If you want like a different repository, you have to set up the other job.
But how often do you get the new repositories? Like, does it happen as part of every release or?
No, no, no. It's like a branches for every release. Usually, we'll create. Suppose if it is a new project they are going to start, then the developers will ask to create the repository. Usually, we are maintaining the branches only.
I see. So, for example, if you have configured Jenkins,
Mm-hmm.
usually a one-time configuration should be enough, right? Like, so for example, you configure a job or to deploy from any of the branches.
Yeah.
And then,
For that, we will create the templates also fine. If you standard template, if you create like I want this is the this format like the template. So whenever you want to use the template, you can copy that particular template and create the job.
I see. So,
Yeah.
do these Jenkins jobs get kick-started automatically, or does it require your
That's what,
intervention?
according to our requirements. So if I wanted to start the automation, I mean, policy same, I have to enable the particular job. Then once my developer check in the code, it will start automatically. If you want
How
to
does it
like,
exist today? I understand that it depends on the requirement, but how is it set up today?
how can you please again? How
Yeah.
to?
So today, how is it set up? Does it require your intervention, or the developers kickstart their own jobs?
That's what. Usually we will enable policy same for all jobs. So whenever the check-in is done, automatically it will build the code. Whenever they require the release, that time I will release the packages. For I mean check-ins and all daily they will do. I will enable the automation only.
So what happens as soon as they check in the code? Does anything happen at all as soon as they check in the code?
Yeah. So it will compile the source code and then it will create the, I mean, it will check the, quality of the code Sonar Cube we are using. So if may any error happen in the particular code, it will send the email notification to my developer. And once their development is done, then they come to know the issues.
You're talking about compilation issues, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys also integrate with any of the linters?
Enable with the,
Linters.
yeah.
Are you guys integrating with any of the linters?
Linter means?
Lint is basically coding style guideline check and things like that.
Okay, okay. No, we didn't try that thing.
Oh, you didn't try that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure about that.
So what typically happens? Is it just compilation, or does it also run any unit tests? What
Yeah,
are the
whatever. Yeah. So usually it will check the one step by step whatever I mean developer required. Suppose in Maven we will pass the different life cycle stages. So according to the stages it will perform. Suppose if you enable the clean and install and deploy, it will perform the all actions. Suppose if you want to create only package, so it will only compiling the source code, it will create the packages. If anything goes to wrong, it will throw the error while doing the packaging.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in addition to So do you also automatically run unit tests and things like that on the code?
Yeah, we can pass the JUnit test cases. We can run automatically in the job configuration only.
Okay. So how do you relay the results back to the on whether the test passed or failed?
Yeah, that we will get in the console only. We will come to know the exact result of our particular build.
So you mean the Jenkins console, the job
Yeah,
Jenkins?
console. Yeah, console. Jenkins console only we come to know about our test cases. Or else we can use the repeat plugin for the generate the test reports of the code. We have an option in that repeat plugin.
What plugin?
Refit, REFIT. Some scenarios our developers will use.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody asks you to build a notification system around these builds, okay,
Hmm.
would it be possible to communicate the test results as well over that notification channel?
Yeah, we can create complete log. We can send to developer in the email notification when we pass. So it will send the complete log file also to my developer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, in terms of, so this is basically the build process. We are talking about the build process, right?
Completely correct. Exactly correct.
So what about the post-build process? So let's say the build is successful.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So
Okay.
what happens to a successful build? What are the things that you guys have done around that particular part?
Yeah. So in the build stage, what it will do is first it will check the, compilation it will check, and then packaging it will create, it will check, and then run it will do. Oh, that means what I am doing here is, so whenever doing the build, so packages, whatever things you are mentioned in the pom.xml, it will check in the Maven. So according to that Maven pom.xml, or else you can use the ant build.xml also. In ant build.xml also we will pass how to create the jar file. So for particular requirement, we have to set up in the build.xml or else either pom.xml also. Once our building is done, according to our build.xml or pom.xml, the stages will perform. So first it will start from the execution, from the compilation. So once it is done, it will create the packages. After that, it will run the packages. So if you wanted to, locally check, if you wanted to local check in the Maven, you can use the Maven space mvn space clean or mvn space compile. Using these commands, you can test in the free building while doing the development also. Usually, our developers will do their end. We have a local setup in the each and every tool. They will, once their development is done, they used to do free building. There locally. Once everything is perfect, then only they'll check in the source code into Git repository or HVN repository.
Yeah, but that's still the build process, right? So let's say the build is done. You've
Yeah.
run the make command.
Next
ran
thing, yeah.
all the
So
tests are passing.
exactly. So next
Now
thing,
it's time to go to the post-build process.
yeah. After once building is completed, then we have to release that packages into server. So either the application server we are using like Tomcat or Red Hat Satellite Server. So for that we are enable the RHN push plugin in the Jenkins. So using that RHN push plugin, usually we will pass the Red Hat Satellite Server IP address uh, in the particular that plugin, and then also you will pass the email ID and the password of the satellite server, and then in satellite server we are deploying, uploading the packages into different channels. That particular channels you have to pass from the from the RHN push plugin. So once it is done, what it will do is, after a build getting success, it will check the details in the Red Hat Satellite Server RHN push plugin. After that, it will uploading that package into Red Hat Satellite Server. Meanwhile, in the Maven, you created already distribution management for the Nexus repository. So usually we will use the Nexus repository to take the backups of the particular version. So that I will configure in the Maven only. So whenever I enable the SCM in the Jenkins, automatically it will call to pom.xml stages. So once it is done, it will upload the package into Red Hat Satellite, Nexus also. So once release is completed, then using the run deck, we will do the deployment. So how we will do the deployment is nothing but in Jenkins we have an option parameters. So in the build parameters, we will pass the IP address where I want to deploy the packages. So after that, in the end stage, post build action, we have a option like run deck. Once we install the plugin in the Jenkins mission, I will use the run deck UUID code in that particular run deck code. After that, it will go and check the UUID code of the run deck server, and then it will deploy the package. These actions I will perform after building.
Okay. And other than Rundeck, if you are asked to use something else, what would you prefer?
Yeah, Chef I will prepare.
Yes, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
configuration management tool.
Do you think they both do the same job?
Yeah, usually Rundeck also same deployment purpose, but Chef we can implement for it's like a big environment we have. We can deploy the more servers at a time.
I see. Okay. Okay. And let's say if the team says, I want to move away from Maven to using Gradle or things like that, what
Yeah.
are the apps that would change in your setup?
So Gradle I didn't get chance to work, but I have basic knowledge in the Gradle setup also. So in the Jenkins we have to enable the Gradle script in the Jenkins. So after that Gradle script we have to write for our requirement like based on our requirement in the Jenkins mission MS builds are we have to write the Gradle scripting in the Jenkins.
Where did you try this? Given that your team is not using Gradle, how did you try this out? So I mean, how did you learn about Gradle? How did you get a chance to try this out?
Yeah, so that if that scenario will happen, I will learn. I mean, I'll start learning in the online only first. Basic stuff I will start from scratch. I will start, and a little scripts I will try to do in our environment. So at least it will take minimum 1 week to 10 days to writing the scripts and all.
I see.
So if anything new requirement will come.
How big is the DevOps team that you are working for? Are you the only person, or do you have a structured team?
Yeah, we have one senior resource. So he having some 8 years experience. He is the lead. So I am the like a person it's a backup of the particular person. It's like I have 3 years experience. ASC role I am doing.
I see. I see. Okay. So you have a senior person who typically.
Yeah. So most of the things he will assign. I mean he will work. Meanwhile, most of the things I'll get KT from him. I started from 3 years. Initially, I took KT from him only.
I see. Got it. Got it.
Only 2 people only we have to take care, and onshore team 1 member only. He will take care of onshore requirements.
So it seems very clear based on your explanation that your day-to-day job involves a lot of work with Jenkins.
Yeah.
That seems very, very clear. So what else does your day-to-day job cover? Like, for example, in addition to Jenkins,
Yeah.
what other things you are required
yeah.
to do?
Yeah. So basically, apart from the Jenkins, what I will do is usually, so my developers, they will give packages manually. So upload their packages into Nexus repository. Sometimes I will do that kind of requirement. And also we are using the RHEV virtualization. So in that, my developers will ask to create the VM for the particular requirement. I'll create the VMs also. Sometimes they will ask the create to environment setup also. Like test servers, if they wanted to set up, they will give the particular IP address. According to the requirement, they will give some RAM, every device they will provide. According to that, I will create the environments also in the RHEV. So these kind of activities I will do apart from the Jenkins.
So how do you achieve these different things that you're talking about? Are these things manual, or do you guys write scripts to do this?
Yeah, manually we have to create in the RHEV. We are doing the manual only.
Okay. Okay. So the only scripting that you get to do is primarily around Jenkins and Jenkins pipelines, is it?
Yeah.
I see. Is there a reason why you are not able to automate some of the package uploads to Sonar and things like that? Why
That's what
why should it be manual?
that's what I didn't get chance to work on the automation part. Completely, my TL only take care of this kind of activities. So and also very limited access they provide to me. So I mean, most of the things I don't have access. I mean, Amazon. So a few services also I don't have knowledge. I don't have access.
I see. Got it.
Yeah. So that's why I'm planning to switch the company.
Okay. I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what kind of documentation have you created so far?
I created, I mean, a complete KT document. I only created like if anything go, I mean, a new concept will come. So I only prepared the document for each and every issue. I mean, how to fix that issue. Once I learn newly, I'll create the document for that particular new thing. Why it will help for a next resource who joined for newly. Even when I giving the KT to him, also very easy to understand. And each and every steps I'll perform with the screenshot in the documentation. Actually, we have a wiki page Confluence. So once my release also completed, I will prepare the each and every release document. I will upload there in my portal. So this is very helpful for next thing, next resource.
I see.
Yeah.
Without compromising the what you call your NDAs and your thing, would it be possible for you to share any of the documents that you have written so far?
No problem. I can share.
You can share, is it?
Yeah. So with the tickets, I will share whatever tickets I work. That tickets screenshots I have. That I'll give with I mean explanation also. That is no problem. Issues and resolution steps also I prepare.
No,
If you
I'm
want, I can.
primarily interested in some of the documentation that work that you have done.
No problem. I can share whatever you want.
So you have my email ID. So if required,
Yeah. Now not possible. I came out from office. Once I reach home today night or tomorrow morning, surely I'll upload to your email ID.
no problem. Thank you. And
Okay.
also, what kind of scripts you have written so far?
So I return the deploying the packages from the Jenkins to Red Hat Satellite Server. These kind of scripts I will return.
Okay. Or is there anything that any of those scripts available to share?
No problem. I can share.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Great. So the two things that I would look forward from you is basically any scripts you have written as well as the documentation that you have written.
No problem. I can share once I reach the home. I will give that.
No problem.
Ah.
And so what about your exposure to Amazon? Like, I know that most of these deployments that you're talking about are probably happening within your own servers, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
What about Amazon? Like, how do you guys use Amazon?
So here my environment we are using or taking the backups in the S3 buckets. Once my deployment is completed, that packages I will log into my Amazon services. So there we have a buckets we created already for the for the particular requirement we created. That buckets I will upload my package into my buckets.
I see. So this is being done as a post-build script in Jenkins itself?
Oh, no. This process I will do like manually.
Manually, is it?
Yeah.
You run the script, how often do you run the script, this backup script?
Yeah, in the Jenkins only, if I run the scripts, we can chance to upload the packages into, Red Hat, sorry, Amazon also.
Yeah, but at what point will you run this in Jenkins? Is it a hook that you put on to any event, or do you manually kickstart a job that will do this backup?
So that we have to configure code deploy and all we have to configure. I didn't try, but only as per my knowledge I told. So code deploy we are using to upload the packages into our Amazon. Deploy the packages from Jenkins. I'm not sure how to upload that.
Got it. So see, uploading to Amazon requires certain configuration, right? Like, for example,
Yeah, we require configuration.
keys, write keys, and all that, right? In
Yeah.
the specific environment.
Yeah.
So how easy or difficult is it for you to configure a new slave with all this information?
Yeah, in using the new slave, it is a little bit easy only. So according to our requirement, first we will create the slave in our Jenkins mission. So according to our requirement, I will pass the SSH key of our server. I mean, where I wanted to upload that configuration. I'll set up in the our slave.
How many slaves do you have, by the way? How big is your Jenkins setup?
21 we are using currently.
21 slaves, is it?
Yeah, 21 nearly we have.
So do you set up all these SSH keys and things like that in all the 21?
Yeah, not 21. I set up nearly 10 servers. I only configured. So Windows and Linux also I configured.
Got it. But do you do this configuration for all the 10 machines?
This I didn't do. I mean, automating the packages to Amazon. This I didn't do. So apart from that, I did the configuration all in the nodes.
No, I didn't understand. Can you repeat that?
In the Jenkins mission, I will create the service. I mean, the slaves. So in the slaves, I didn't try with this Amazon. So only my Jenkins requirement I configure slaves.
Right. So how many such slaves do you have to configure for this particular job? With Amazon configuration. How many slaves did you have to go and
for this requirement, I am not sure how many slaves. So as per my knowledge, I will use one slave and then labels we will use for this requirement.
Okay, I'll probably ask this question differently. So, for example, there is a configuration involved, right? So, whatever Amazon keys or SSH keys that you need to configure or authentication you need to set up, okay? You got to set it up in your Jenkins slave, right?
Yeah.
And if you have a lot of Jenkins slaves in which this job can run,
okay,
let's assume that this can run in any of the 10 slaves that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how will you do this configuration across all these 10 slaves? Be it the SSH key configuration or the Amazon authentication configuration. Okay, how will you set this up across all your Jenkins slaves?
Then I will set up this SSH key into my configure system in the Jenkins. There I will pass my SSH key of our Amazon key. I will pass into my configure system option. So if I pass like that, it will reflecting into all slaves.
You will put this in the configuration system of Jenkins, is it?
Yeah, in there we'll pass this SSH key. Usually we will pass some particular server, especially Docker, we will use for these keys.
And you were saying that will take care of propagating all this configuration.
Exactly.
All the slaves, is it?
Exactly.
Is this some sort of a Jenkins plugin or is it an inherent feature of Jenkins itself?
No, we have to install plugin according to our requirement.
The configuration plugin is an external plugin for Jenkins. Is that what you're saying?
No, configure system is a default. Once you have the Jenkins setup, you will get that option, first option only in the manage Jenkins.
I see. That allows you to set up the different.
SSH key we will pass from there.
Is it?
Yeah, we can.
And how would you ensure that it is deployed only into, let's say, 10 slaves out of the 21 slaves that you have?
The tool in the slave machine will pass the tools location, right, where we want to call the particular servers. According to that locations, it will call.
No. What I mean is, you've got a cluster which is about 21 slaves, right?
Yeah.
Of the 21 slaves, okay, only 10 slaves should require this Amazon configuration.
Okay.
Okay, how are you going to specify those 10 slaves? How will you configure that only 10 slaves out of the 21 slaves should have this configuration? That's
what. So in the environment location, we will select in the Jenkins configuration. Node configuration, right? Whatever server, slaves you want to call this particular Amazon things, that you have to log into that particular slave in the Jenkins front end only. There you have to enable.
So if I understand right, are you saying you will select the list of nodes,
exactly,
nodes, as part of this process? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
I see. What about the node labeling and things like that? Do you think it will help?
Yeah, labeling also it will work to call the specific things from the slave mission. I told you already that you can pass these things from the labels also.
Okay. Okay. I was primarily looking for that option anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So besides that, do you have any experience with Docker or Kubernetes or?
Yeah, Docker I have very basic knowledge. I mean creating the images and calling that particular images from the Jenkins. So I have knowledge on that.
Have you pushed Docker images to a repo, Docker repo and things like that?
Not like that.
So what happens after a Docker image is built?
So in my environment, we are using the Docker only particular specific requirement. If I wanted to pass, if I wanted to call the images using the instead of using the slave configuration in Jenkins, we are calling the Docker images in the background.
Uh, Can you repeat that, please? I don't think I followed you.
Yeah. So usually we instead of master or slave concept, we are using the Docker images, a particular requirements in my environment. So how we will set up is according to our requirement. We will set up the image in the backend server. So that server using the Docker Hub, I will Docker Hub repository. I will configure that into my Jenkins using the Docker build and publish plugin. I will call the Docker.
Right. But what happens to the Docker image that you built? Does it get pushed to a repo, or does it automatically immediately gets installed? What happens?
So it will check out the things from the GitLab, I mean Git server to Jenkins. So after that it will perform the all actions what you configured in the particular job.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Uh, And what about the other Amazon experience that you quote, like, for example, be it using their elastic, automated elastic or things like that?
Other than that, I have creating the instances in the Amazon Web Services. I have knowledge on that.
Do you go log into the console and then use it, or
Yeah, front end only I created.
Hmm?
Front end only, console only.
Console only. What about
Give, yeah, 1 minute, 1 minute. Yeah, sorry for that. Actually, I got the call.
no problem.
Yeah.
Do you have experience with Amazon CLI, the AWS CLI?
No, I don't have knowledge on that.
Okay, no problem. Have you heard of Terraform?
Terraform, no.
Okay.
Oh, these
And,
and all, I mean, we are using in Amazon, right?
no problem. What about your scripting experience? Has it primarily been bash scripting, or have you also used other
Shell,
forms?
shell only, shell scripting only.
Shell only, is it?
Yeah.
Do you have any exposure to Python or Ruby?
No, not hands-on experience on that.
No problem, no problem. But are you familiar with it?
Yeah, I can.
I see, I see. Okay. Okay, good. And do you get a run book or any kind of cluster? How do you monitor things in your setup?
We are using the health check monitoring only. All servers we are maintaining the monitoring in the. It's like a index.html file. My developers written that scripts for the monitoring tool. We have that tool. In that tool only, every day we are getting the notifications from the RHEV server. So like that we are maintaining, monitoring.
So let's say you are in charge of maintaining a cluster.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
what are the parameters would you monitor for in order to ensure that the cluster is running fine?
Yeah. So I'll monitor the CPU utilization of my servers. I will check. I will monitor first thing, and also CPU utilization. Whenever it will cross the particular memory, I mean, once we get the notification, I'll check the server old logs files and all. I'll check, and very old files I will remove from the server in my environment. And also I'll monitoring the if any mission going down or going down that scenarios. I'll go and manually do the particular VM. So these kind of things I will check. I'll monitor.
How do you set up the monitoring for, let's say, an instance going down? I know you can set up a monitoring for disk space and things like that, but how do you monitor for an instance going down in the cluster?
Instance going down. That is, we are using the CloudWatch one service we have, right? That in Amazon. Using that, we are getting the notifications every time in the CloudWatch setup. So like that, we can monitor.
So in the absence of CloudWatch, let's say this was an in-house cluster that you have set up, for example, like in the case you have now. So if you have to monitor a machine there, what would you use?
That is health check monitoring only we are using. So that is we set up in
Can it
the
detect
RHEV.
going down? Can it detect a machine going down?
Yeah, we can detect and we can get the notification also in that particular tool.
So how many escalation levels do you have in them?
That basically 3 levels we have, like normal running and critical running and major running. 3 different stages we have.
Okay, so does everyone get all these alerts,
Notification.
all the
Exactly.
three levels,
Exactly.
or how does it work?
Yeah, we have a team that 8 members team. All people we set up in the particular script. Our email IDs we passed.
So all of you get that alert.
Yeah,
All the three
exactly.
levels, all of you get.
Exactly.
And is it around the clock monitoring?
Yeah. So how it's every day 2 times. I mean, we'll get the notification. The time we sat in the script. So evening and morning. So we'll get the notification. So how we will monitoring it. So who are doing the morning shift? That people first morning they will check, and second shift people will check on the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know that you were alluding to this in one of your previous things, but why are you looking for a change at this point in time?
Yeah, main I'm looking for learning the new technologies like Amazon Web Services, and also so in the Docker also I'm planning to learn. Main thing that only I want to switch the company.
Okay. And do you think you won't have that opportunity in the current workspace?
No, never. They told already. I mean, most of the things they will only take care. I from 1 year I'm trying. So asking many times I asked. So simply they'll tell learn, do the daily activities and all.
Why do you think they are not able to do that?
What?
Why do you
That's
think?
what my role is like. What how I'll do? Like they are senior people. How I question them? Like send the big task to me like that.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. And what is your current CTC like, and what is your expected CTC?
Now mine is 4.10 lakhs, 4,10,000 I'm getting. 30% hike also fine for me.
I'm sorry, 4.9 lakhs is your current CTC.
No, 4.1 only. 4,10,000.
Okay.
Yeah. Apart that, 30% hike I'm expecting.
You're expecting 30% hike.
Yeah. So mainly I want to switch the company. That's all.
I see. And how important is that 30% hike for you? Is it negotiable?
Yeah, we
And
can.
when would
We
you
can.
negotiate?
We can. We can.
Can negotiate, right?
Yeah, 20 also fine for me. Only I wanted to switch the company.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. And also one more thing is here, even full daily, day to day and weekends also I have to support. Every week I have to support.
I see.
That too 24/7. Whenever they are called, day to day they'll call.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what. It's like a weekend support, weekdays. Continuously I'm working only. So this is the reason also.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. I see. Have you read up on anything online in order to learn some of the new technologies that you are interested in, like be it Docker or any of the new things that you are saying you are interested in? There are so many courses and avenues to learn them online, right?
Yeah, we
You
have.
typically refer to them.
Yeah, whenever we want to learn new things, better way we can do in online only. Then we can start working.
So like that, what have you learned recently?
Recently, I learned this uh, RHEV mission setup and smoke test how we will perform in the application. I learned. Once my DevOps engineer work is usually will do testers will do smoke test, right? That I did, and also I learned recently basic Python also, very basic, not much.
I see. How did you learn Python?
Like
What is
tutorial only I started.
online tutorials, is it?
Online tutorial only. Just I started.
Do you have any of the scripts that you have written during those learning process?
Yeah, no. Very recently I started. Past 1 month only. I didn't write the scripts. So shall I written so many? If you want, I can share the scripts.
Yeah, please do, along with that.
Sure, I'll say deployment scripts I written, and also upgradation also I written, and also these scripts I will share to you, and also I'll share the document what you asked how you prepared that for your environment issues and all. So that I prepared for a complete DevOps thing that I can share.
Okay.
Apart
And
from anything required.
what kind of notice period do you have?
Usually 1 month I have a notice period, but I can manage within 15 days I can join.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Great. Okay. So I think I've kind of understood most of what I wanted to know from you. Do you have any questions for me?
No. It sounds very good.
Excellent. So what I will do is I'm going to circle back with my DevOps lead.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. And I'll come back to you on the next steps.
Okay, sure. No problem.
And if required, there might also be a customer interview.
Customer interview. Okay. When I'm expect that one?
Given that this is a US customer, you will have to probably come to our office and not take that interview. Is that something that you are fine with?
Actually, next week I'm going my hometown. Actually, my brother engagement is function we have. So, is it possible to any Skype or Zoom? WebEx like that? Is it possible?
It is possible, but it would be great if I can actually use that opportunity.
I'll try my level best. I'll come.
Okay, no problem.
Sure. Okay.
I'll remember that. Okay?
Yeah, okay. Bye. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Navtesha. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Bye.
We'll be in touch, and I look forward to your email with your...
Yeah, sure. I'll share once I reach the home. I'll share around
Thanks a lot.
9:30. I'll share you. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Bye.